In 1995, Amitabh Bachchan ji started a company called as ABCL. But unfortunately, that business did not do well. And by 1999, he ended up taking a debt of approximately 90 crore rupees. In fact, the situation became so bad that creditors who had lent money to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, they started lining up in front of his house. But by early 2000s, his fortune changed. He signed up KBC, did a bunch of good movies, and he turned around his life. And one could argue that he rebuilt his life from starting from zero all the way to thousands of crores that he might be owning today. There are a few critical lessons that I would like to outline from this story. Point number one is that no matter if you are a mega star, you can still go down to zero. Point number two is that once you go down to zero, you can again go back to thousands of crores. And point number three, which is a lesser known point about this story, is that when you do good things in your good times, people come and help you in your bad times. And that is the true definition of being rich. And let me explain that by using the example from Mr. Bachchan's story, that when he was going through that horrendous phase in his life, people like Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, Mr. Yash Chopra, they helped Mr. Amitabh Bachchan a lot. Why would they have helped him? I don't know. I don't share any personal details, but my hypothesis would be that Mr. Bachchan would have networked really well, would have been nice to people, professional to people. So when his bad time came, a lot of people jumped in to help him out. So on this video, I'm going to help you understand that if I were to start from absolute zero today, or if I were to go to zero today and have no money in my bank account, what are some critical things that I would be doing? I'll explain this story in 6 very easy, simple steps. And also, if you do like this type of content, do consider subscribing to this channel because it would help with the channel's growth and it would allow these type of videos to reach out to more people. So let's get started. On another note, it is an interesting exercise to think about that could Mr. Bachchan have taken insurance to preserve his business? Well, you can't take insurance on preventing business failures and you can't take insurance to prevent your losses in the stock market, but you can definitely take insurance to preserve your health and take a term insurance on your life. So do check out Ditto. They are a wonderful platform for buying your health and life insurance. You can speak with an insurance expert for free, absolutely no charge. The link is in the description box. Schedule that call now. It's a spam-free way of buying insurance. So step number one is that you need to understand the rich framework. Now, what exactly is the rich framework? Basically, there are different categories of rich in the world. Here is a quick LinkedIn post that I had done. In case you are interested, you can pause the video and go through this list of 8 different type of rich people that exist in the world and what makes them rich. So first and foremost step is that you need to understand what type of rich you are currently and what type of rich you want to become in the future. For example, if you are a college student, you might have a lot of time with you. So what type of a rich you are? You would be time rich. But on the other hand, it is likely that you would have very little money in your bank account. So you are money poor. So what becomes your goal? Your goal becomes to become money rich going forward in time. So with this framework, you will be easily able to identify that what categories of rich you are. For example, you might be highly skilled. So you would be skill rich. Similarly, you might be extremely fit. So you might be health rich. Similarly, you might be wealthy. For example, your parents might have aggregated a lot of wealth for you. So you might be wealth rich. So first and foremost, quickly identify what type of rich you currently are. And even if you have zero amount of rupee in your bank account, you would still have certain category of rich that you currently would be. So please identify that and have a very clear target as to what other type of rich you would want to become. Your obvious answer would be, I want to become all types of rich. So with that said, let us move to point number 2. Now, in order to become all types of rich, or if you want to hit 5 or 6 points from this list, you need to do 2 things, and it's very simple. First and foremost, you need to double down on your strengths. Doubling down on your strength means that if you are skilled, then you want to become hyper skilled on certain areas. Second point would be that you need to eliminate as many weaknesses as you can. So the framework of becoming all types of rich is fairly simple, that double down on your strengths and try to eliminate critical weaknesses in your life. So for this, I have a very important tip, which is called as not following your passion. You might be hearing a lot of motivational YouTubers that, you know what, follow your passion, do this, do that, whatever you feel like. Okay, sounds great in theory, but in a practical executionable point to become rich, you actually need to go through a lot of grind. Let me explain that by using the example of Virat Kohli. So I'm assuming that Virat Kohli loves playing cricket. That is what his passion is. But in order to become a professional cricketer and mint a lot of money that we currently see Virat Kohli minting, he would have to go through a series of different things associated with his career. For example, he might have to focus on his fitness. It has got very little to do with playing cricket. He might have to do conditioning training, he might have to take care of his diet, he might have to go to the gym, he might have to meditate, do mental wellness. On top of that, when he became the captain of the Indian cricket team, he also had to undertake PR or public relations training, how to speak to media and do all that stuff. The point I'm trying to tell you is that in order for a person to become successful and make money from any career path, you have to do a lot of things that you might not like doing but are extremely important. So if you are trying to figure out that what are some of these strengths in which I should double down and what are some of the weaknesses that I absolutely need to eliminate even when I don't feel like doing, what is it that you can do? So you can draw a 2x2 BCG matrix. On the x-axis, you write strengths and weaknesses. So this becomes your two blocks. On the y-axis, write two things, important and non-important. And whatever falls in that important bucket, it is something that you need to double down on, or if it is your weakness, then you need to improve upon it. A classic case in point is that many people from tier 2, tier 3 cities do not want to learn English. But we all understand that, hey, if you know English, it's a highly monetizable skill. You will be able to start your YouTube, do a bunch of different things. Now, if English is your weakness, when you're drawing that 2x2 matrix, where should you plot it? You should plot it under weakness and important. So you draw a circle there and draw out weakness. So this becomes your target point where you need to improve. So if you do this SWOT analysis, you will have a very clear understanding what are the areas where you need to double down, improve upon, and what are the weaknesses that you need to absolutely eliminate. So once you have done the SWOT analysis of your skill and you have a very clear understanding what are your strengths and what are the weaknesses on which you need to improve, you need to run a test called as the 25,000 rupee test. What is this 25,000 rupee test? Very simple. You need to ask yourself a question as to what you can do right now that will help you generate 25,000 rupees. It could be that you can become a thumbnail designer. It could be that you can become a video editor. It could be that you can become someone's virtual assistant. So whatever career path or parallel income stream you choose, you need to test it by using that 25,000 rupee theory. Now there are two ways to test out this 25,000 rupee theory. Number one, you need to understand that people pay for value or people pay for time. For example, you might be a brilliant video editor. You might be charging 10-20,000 rupees for editing a video. On the flip side, you might just be getting started in terms of your video editing business. And for that, you might be charging very little amount at the upfront. In the first scenario, what are you doing? You are charging for your value because you're a highly skilled video editor. On the second scenario, what are you doing? You are charging for your time. These are two ways in which people usually start by making money, and you need to be clear as to what are you bringing to the table when you are identifying any skill and are trying to make money through it. So by doing this analysis, you will have a very clear understanding how you can make that 25,000 rupees. Now you go and execute that option and see how much time it is taking for you in actuality to generate that 25,000 rupees. Now two things can happen, that you realize that, you know what, the money is just not coming in. I have wasted a little bit of time. So you learn, you relearn, and then jump on to the next skill set. But it actually happens that you are making that 25,000 rupee money, then it acts as a proof of concept for you, which you could consider upscaling it from this point. Again, coming back to that video editor example. So let's say that you started your video editing business and you ended up making 25,000 rupees 6 months from now. Yes, not huge gains initially, but you understood that, hey, I'm actually enjoying the process. People are paying me for this skill. I can potentially go and at least I can do this long term, at least for 3-4 years, and see how it goes from that point. So at this stage, you have successfully built a proof of concept. So this would be a successful scenario. But another unsuccessful scenario can come out that you have run certain experiments. You have tried to monetize for your time or for your value, but it is just not getting monetized. Then what do you do next? Let us understand. So this brings us to point number 4 or fourth step. What if you don't have any value to sell? What is it that you should do? Well, that would be a very clear sign that you need to cultivate and upskill yourself. Then you would have a natural response that, you know what, I don't have money to buy courses and upskill myself and pay for so many courses out there. You don't need to do all that. Think about it from two ways. Number one, you can upskill yourself even without spending any money. if you have the time. So if you have a lot of free time, just simply go on YouTube, pick information and learn from it. Let's say hypothetically you want to learn about stock market. I have done so many videos on stock market. Just go and watch it, prepare notes, and you will learn a lot about stock market. And I can assure you that you will do better than 90% of the people who invest and trade in the stock market. But if you're short on time, then taking structured courses might make a lot more sense. By the way, I also run courses on Wisdom Hatch. You can go and check it out. So far, the reviews have been wonderful, and in case you are interested in learning about stock markets, management consulting, and other important fields which are good money making fields, then you can check out some of my courses. Now you might have a natural response that okay fine, I'm willing to invest my time, dedicate a lot of effort and do whatnot to upskill myself, but where is it I should start focusing? Because when I try to find courses, there are just thousands of courses. Which course should I take? Well, you should take money making course, and again go back to the previous point that I was explaining, that ask a simple question that hey, by taking this course, will I be able to make money in any way? Now here are 5 important skill sets that I can outline. This does not require a PhD. This does not require insane amount of time spent from your side to start making money in these fields. So go and take courses that help you do any of these things and you would be able to make money. A classic case in point would be graphic designing. These days, just simply go on Canva and learn a bit of graphic designing. If you are getting even one client, you can easily charge them 200-300 rupees right from day one. Now comes the natural question, how do I get clients? So for that, we move on to the next skill. Now in order to make 25,000 rupees from any of the skills that you have, the number one skill that I would learn is the skill of selling. Now people have a very bad image when they say that, you know what, I want to become a salesman or I want to learn selling. No. Everyone in the world is selling something or the other. Think about it this way, that when you are going to a job, you are selling. You will say that no, I'm a coder. How am I selling? No, the codes that you're creating, your company product managers or your company CEOs, CXOs, what are they doing? They are eventually going and selling those codes to someone in the form of software packaging and are getting money for it. And then when they get that money, they keep 95% of it and pay the rest 5% out to the teams. So everyone in this world is selling, be it at a job, be it in their own business, be it online, etc., etc. There is nothing wrong in terms of selling. So please disassociate that negative image of selling, because truly if you do not sell, you will have nothing to eat. Then comes the natural question that okay fine, I'm okay selling, I want to sell, I want to make my first 25,000 from my certain skill. What is it that I should do and where exactly is it that I should get started? Okay, so again coming back to that concept of value, that you need to understand the value of you first and foremost, the value of the product that you are trying to sell. At the end of the day, whatever you are selling, you are trying to sell it how? You are trying to sell it by projecting the value of that particular thing. In order to ascertain the value of anything, it is very simple. Ask yourself the question that what problem are you or your product is solving for others. As long as you have a very clear answer, the selling proponent becomes very easy for you. Then from there on, start learning more specific techniques about selling, but this can be a great starting point for you. So once you have figured out that what areas you are already rich in and what areas you want to become richer with time in, once you have figured out your skill set, once you have figured out how to sell, what you have successfully done, you have been successfully able to go from 0 to 1. Now the next step becomes, in order to become financially independent, is that you need to go from 1 to n and you need to start turning that wheel very, very fast. So what is it that you need to do? You need to understand the concept of upscaling. So here there are 2-3 sub points that I will talk about. So first and foremost way from really growing from 1 to n would be that you make money from money. The best way there is to learn investing, that if you are investing your money, then that money automatically starts working for you and generates more return, and it accelerates your journey of being financially independent. The second way of upscaling yourself would be that you compound your skills. For example, again going back to Mr. Bachchan's story, that he would have attained so much skill with time, which he keeps on compounding. He has become a better and better actor, and with every next film he starts charging more and more money. So from that perspective, if you are upscaling your skills itself, then that allows you to accelerate that journey of being financially independent. Third and final point is the interconversion of different types of richness in order to make more money. For example, if you are someone who is time rich, then you use that time in order to generate more skills. If you are already more skilled, then what you do is that you make money out of that skill. If you already have a lot of money, then you use that money to buy time for you by hiring additional help, by hiring some people for you, etc., etc. So this interconversion of different forms of riches allow you to grow with time and gain that skill. So I hope that this video gave you a very clear idea as to what you precisely need to do in case you are currently at zero right now. Don't be disheartened, follow these 6 steps and hopefully your life will change. Thank you so much for watching. Please do comment and subscribe on this channel and I will see you the next time.